Alessandro Antonini was waiting for his wife Tiziana to come out of a coma. His best friend didn't know where he was. Fausto assumed Tiziana was seriously injured or dead. He took a cab and went on a desperate search around Brussels, from hospital to hospital.
I was amazed that Franco hadn't called to calm us down. Why was that? Paolo had gone to bed. I went to bed with him to reassure him. But after a while, very quietly, I came back to the phone. The first call, I started by calling his friends at their hotel. I said, please don't leave before you find him, please. They said, Madam, we've already checked all the hospitals. At that point, the stress hit me. I know I passed out. I was aware of them shaking me, and I started to come to. My doctor was there, and our priest, Don Angelo. And then, without any words, no one said a thing. I knew for sure what I had feared from the very start.
Mrs. Martelli's son was probably taken away in one of these ambulances. While the final was being played, the dead were moved from the Red Cross tents just outside the VIP hall to the military hospital. There, 2 cordons of soldiers guarded the dead. The authorities feared that after the game, the news of the deaths would trigger more violence all over the city. Commander Jean-Charles Verlinden was in charge of the morgue.
We thought there was going to be rioting. Tension was running high. We thought people would come to where the dead victims were and might become violent.
Fausto Moschini arrived at the military hospital after he'd tried at least 8 other hospitals. If his friend's wife Tiziana had been brought here, then it was almost certain she was dead.
We had seen people dying in the stadium as a result of violence. We felt that those violent people might come here. Anything was possible. That they would smash down doors, relatives would want to see the dead, that we wouldn't be able to stop them.
I came in down a long corridor and I didn't really know what to expect. They had told me that this was the only place where I might find my friend. There was a gentleman who had brought me down here who had told me, unfortunately, we haven't completed the list yet, you'll have to look at them yourself. I assumed there would be 2 or 3 bodies, but when he opened the door, I just saw so many bodies. It was here. I went straight for the smallest body because Tiziana is little. When I got halfway there, I slowed down. I faltered because I was scared. But when I was 2 or 3 meters away, I realized it wasn't Tiziana, but actually a young boy, a 9 or 10-year-old.
In the stadium, the first half ended 0-0. Music was played. 3 hours after the wall in Block Z had collapsed, a list of missing persons was read out over the PA. The head of the stadium workers, Marcel van Biezen, had been helping to compile the list.
I went back to the VIP stand once the game had kicked off, and I ended up next to an Italian supporter who was cheering. I took a closer look at him. Sorry, I'm finding all these memories very emotional. I looked at him and saw that he had no shoes on and was covered in blood, and yet he was cheering on his team. But I was equally surprised by my son, who was in the stand facing the VIP stand. I walked over to find him, and everyone there was watching the game enthusiastically, as if it were a completely normal game. I said to him, "Listen, you need to go home," and he said, No, everything is fine. But you know that people have died here. Yeah, there's a guy just there with the radio who's told us what happened. And yet everybody stayed in that stand, utterly unconcerned, watching the match.
I feel that if a proper announcement had been made saying some of your friends and your colleagues have been very seriously injured, have been killed, as a mark of respect, we cannot play the match. Please will you leave the stadium in a quiet and orderly fashion. I believe that would have happened.
In my opinion, it was essential to play because of the immediate circumstances. But I think it was also important in the longer term to show that the European club competitions were very strong. It was important to retain a sense of continuity, to turn that page in that respect so quickly and show that the game had a strong future.
"13 minutes into the second half of the match, Juventus star player Michel Platini passed to the forward Boniek, who was fouled just outside the penalty area. The referee decided to give Juventus a penalty.
Which way he tackles it? Which way he tackles it? Head there? 1, 2, 3, now. Where? Outside the area?
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is it. They're trying to cheat us on a penalty, yeah, which was never a penalty. I'm going to do my best to stop this because that is just wrong. I got a rush of adrenaline wanting to save this penalty. When Platini, one of the best footballers in the world, steps up and has got a penalty to take against you, you want to do your best. It's him or you. Now you could make a huge name for yourself saving a penalty for Platini.
He didn't.